Bleaching your face, woman. So when black cultural gatekeepers are bleaching their skin, what actually are they protecting? What's behind the gate? This is crazy. It's nuts. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of skin bleaching. When Michael started doing that stuff, and you stop it. Stop playing those games with yourself. Oh, Michael had vitiligo. I'm not giving no damn vitiligo. Doesn't go like that. Maybe he had vitiligo, but he made it worse. He made it permanent ligo. It was permanent all over his face. Come on now. And if you go back to Off the Wall, Michael Jackson was a very, very handsome young black man with black features. He had a wide nose. He was part of Wide Nose Society. The Wide Nose Society. That is funny. That is funny. So what is next? Little Kim bleaching herself. Sammy Sosa looks like a corpse. The man looks like a corpse. Sammy Sosa looks like people do in movies after they've been attacked by vampires. That's what he looks like all of the blood has been drained from his body. And now Azalea Banks too. What is happening around the world? I'll be honest with you. With all of the trials and tribulations that black people have gone through, I wouldn't want to be anything else. Anything else. I love it. There's so many perks to being black. Now, you got some things you got to keep your eyes open about, but there's so many perks. That's just me, though. If I were white, I would love who I was in that case. You have to love you, man. Black or white, whether we agree or disagree, I would always choose someone that loves their self over someone that does not, any day. Nate, since we didn't do the Gilligan of the Week, I'm nominating Wendy Williams for the Just Shut Up Award today. Oh, really? Wendy Williams, huh? Do you think that she deserves it? And if so, for what?
Shut the up, okay? Just leave it at that.
Yeah, just leave it at that, Wendy. I know Roland went hard at her, so that's Roland's new role now. After going so hard at Snoop Dogg and getting so many clicks and so much recognition, look for Roland Martin to now make it a thing where he goes after black folks who, have some kind of presence in the media. I'm not saying he shouldn't. Okay? Damn right entertaining. But look for that. Look for that. Angela writes the latter. Something is truly off about Azalea Banks. Yeah, something is truly off about her. So the same woman who calls out the Justin Timberlakes, she calls out all of these different so-called famous people. Kendrick Lamar, she said he was weak as hell. Talking about people need to stop rioting in Ferguson. And this is your commentary? This is what she said about the man. And she was right on point. Now she's bleaching her skin. This is sad. It's very, very sad. When you take a sister and she feels like the only way I'm going to feel good about myself if I look unnatural. It's just not natural. Shout out to people who believe and embrace natural beauty, meaning that whoever you are naturally, that's who you are. Now, here's the question. Let's dissect this. Let's chop this up, okay? Let's chop this up. Is she right, though? Is there much of a difference between a person that would get a nose job and a person that lightens their skin? What I would say is it depends on why you're doing it. If you show me a black person who was born a member of the Wide Nose Society, and now you've got the money to get you one of these Scandinavian noses, and they do it, I would say, to me, that's on the same level as somebody who is bleaching their skin. Very similar. She's right about that. Is it the same? Let's chop this up. Small pieces, shall we? Is it the same as, is Azalea Banks right? Is a person who bleaches their skin the same as, let's say, a woman who bleaches her hair? Got them blonde streaks with that dark skin? What's wrong with you? You're not no strawberry blonde. Get out of here. That's not who you are. Is there much of a difference? I would say in terms of the motivation, if you bury deep down into it, there's some similarities. I mean, you show me a woman that goes all blonde, she's doing that because she thinks it looks good. And if you show me a woman that's bleaching her skin and her face, she's doing that because she thinks it looks good. Now, why does she think it looks good? She thinks it looks good because of growing up in a society where the ultimate sign of beauty, right? If you look at most of the movies where there's a beautiful damsel in distress, it's very rare when it's a sister. Very rare. If you look at those movies, and they're still making those damsel in distress kind of movies, like, for instance, there was a movie called, I'm just picking this out of a hat, San Andreas with The Rock. That's basically a disaster damsel in distress movie, okay? The first damsel in distress was a beautiful woman. I don't recall her name, but she was like his ex-wife, and he had to save her from like a collapsing building, and he did it, okay? And then the next damsel was his daughter, both white. So when you go to those movies and you sit there for 2 hours invested in a narrative in which a white woman has to be saved, okay? And then you see all of these incredible adventures that these men are willing to go through. Now you amplify that times 1 million, times 2 million. And that's what it's like, okay? That's what you've been exposed to on a lot of different levels if you consume any kind of media as a black person in this country. That has more of an effect on some people than it does on other people. That's what I've noticed. Like, some people are really affected by the hierarchy of beauty and the way it's promoted through the media. Some people are really, really obsessed by that. And it's a global thing. I mean, it's the reason why Serena Williams has made less money than other, and again, when I say white, I really mean these European female tennis players are making more money than her in endorsements. Why? It's because they fit the hierarchy of beauty that's been established in our culture, around the globe. It is what it is. We understand that. That affects some people different than other people. Like, some people like, I'm a sister and I love it. Braid me up. Fro me up. Give me that natural, boo. But then you got other women, and maybe it's the way they grow up. Maybe they grew up in some of these suburban schools, or maybe they grew up in a culture in which they feel as if the way they look is not valuable. I'm not really sure. I'm just spitballing. But I think that's at the root of what we're seeing here with an Azalea Banks. She can't never say nothing about blackness to me. I'll be honest with you. If you're bleaching your skin, how the hell, why would I ever listen to anything you have to say about anything when it comes to blackness? It's not going to happen. What the hell? That is sad. Oh, my God. Angela writes, her rationale was bananas, too. Absolutely. Mike writes, Azalea Banks is a walking contradiction. Angela writes, is what Charlemagne the God used, or did he do der Ambrasian? Are you telling me Charlemagne the God is doing the same thing? That's some sucker MC silly type stuff to me. I mean, you're bleaching your skin, bro? Why? And the thing about it is, I've never really seen it done good. You're walking around here looking like zombies, black zombies. Nas, the great poet Nas, that is, the greatest lyricist of all time. Okay, he's a walking around Hall of Famer lyricist. Nas, much better than some damn Jay-Z anyway. Some damn Jay-Z. But Nas, he said black zombies. Is this what he meant? Is this what he meant? The dead will walk the earth? Because it looks like the top layer of their skin is dead. Like, if you look at little Kim, in her mind, she probably thinks that she looks like a Kardashian. Like, she looks biracial. I think that's what people are going for. Like, they want to look biracial. Because for whatever reason, biracial people have been deemed to be very attractive. It's just what it is. I don't make these rules, man, but don't act like you don't recognize them. It is what it is. They got the best of both worlds, right? All this kind of stuff. So maybe people like, and again, I don't know if this Charlemagne the God is actually doing that. And I've kind of heard about that. If so, that'll be damn sad. That'll be damn sad. Karamia writes, I use a blemish cream on my elbow to even out my blackness. LOL. Oh, man. I mean, listen, if you've got blotches, that's different. Blotches could be like dark patches or something like that, and you want to even it out. That's different. That's okay. Okay? Everybody does that, I guess. That's reasonable. But you're trying to bleach your entire face and neck, and then you only wear long shirts because you don't want people to see how your skin color be the contrast to your face. It's ghastly. Little Kim looks ghastly. I mean, she looks like a vampire is living with her and is using her as a living like battery, right? He's just draining her slowly. Sammy Sosa looks like he made a stop at Haiti and they transformed her into one of the Walking Dead. That's what he looks like. Ghastly. So we'll have to wait and see. Karamir writes, I love my black skin. Me too. Me too. And if somebody says I love my white skin, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's not anti-black because you love yourself. And you might even have some people out there that'll hit the streets and protest and say they're pro-white. Just because you're pro-white doesn't mean they're necessarily anti-black either. Keep it real. But that's Azalea Banks, and that is a very, very sad story. But that's the world we live in. Back to more, I guess you might say, serious matters, although I took that very seriously. I'm reading from the New York Times. Dallas gunmen had plans for a wider attack. And that's what the police are saying. They're saying that it looks like this dude was strapped up to go to war. And what I would like to know is, how easy is it to get your hands on bomb-making materials? That's what I'd like to know. Is there things that you can buy on the internet? There I go. Are there places that you can go and, you can buy this stuff like at a hardware store? Or are there websites where you can learn how to take these very, very simple household items, store-bought, over-the-counter items, and now turn them into weapons of mass destruction and hurt a lot of people? I mean, because if so, I would like to know. And not only would I like to know, I would like to know, is there like a loophole or something like that, like with the gun show loophole that we need to close? I would like to know all of those things. Because if so, I want to vote to make it more difficult for psycho sickos like this individual, okay, that killed all these police officers in Dallas, to get their hands on these type of explosive devices. That's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on that. That's going to keep everybody safer, making it more difficult for psycho sickos to get their hands on these dangerous weapons and objects and items. That's number one. Number two, how do we take these moments to bring our communities together? That's what we should be focusing on. Meanwhile, the good people on Fox News, well, they're trying to tear us down. America's sheriff is back. He went on Fox News within the last couple days, and he absolutely blasted, and I mean blasted, Black Lives Matter. Check this out.
Sheriff David Clark of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office. Great to see you, Sheriff. So this is the message that it's we need to get guns out of the hands of folks like this. But this guy had no record. He was a vet. He was an Army vet, and I don't know. The rhetoric's bad, but I don't know that it caused this guy's behavior.
Megan, I'm sorry, but I'm still trying to make sense out of that babble that was coming out of the mouth of Jesse Jackson. He was talking about weapons that can bring down airliners. He's talking about surface-to-air missiles. Those aren't on the streets in the United States of America. And that was a pathetic display of what he did. But look at the situation that we face right now. We have some very irresponsible rhetoric coming from some very powerful people. It is time for this nation to stand up with one voice and to condemn and shun this movement called Black Lives Matter. I would like to see the Southern Poverty Law Center place Black Lives Matter alongside those other hate groups that were mentioned, these black nationalist groups, the Black Panther Party, the Nation of Islam. It doesn't mean that those organizations will go away just because they're on that list, but what happens is people start to delegitimize these movements and marginalize them. This movement needs to be marginalized. We have looked at this stuff. We have peeled back the layers. We've looked at the data. We've looked at the research. None of their false narrative about the use of force, about the American police officer, can be proved. None of it.
But why?
Zero.
How would that have helped this?
Megan,
because this guy wasn't part of Black Lives Matter.
It is time for, he said, according to the chief down there, Chief Brown, he was doing this in the name of Black Lives Matter. He said he wanted to kill
The language
white
was
people.
a little different than that. He did say the latter.
Okay, but it is
Yeah.
time for the liberal mainstream media, the liberal